Good morning once again, everyone. Happy to be here with all of you. Now, I'm gonna be a little more personal at the beginning of the satsang because Ganesh and I go a long way, so to speak. It is, I don't often get to say this, but actually when I was a child, when I was not even born, my father used to play this chant Jai Ganesha in our house all the time. And it's one of my earliest memories actually listening to this chant, which what we did today was just a part of a much longer chant. Of course, I never really had any connection with Ganesha in that way until, of course, I came to India. And I came to India now 14 years ago, and I came to Maharashtra. Now, when I was there, people will tell me all about, they will make jokes, as everybody does, of, it's a Punjabi wedding, meaning like it's a big wedding or, celebration, or Punjabi size food, or Punjabi cars, or, everything is big and nice. Of course, Punjabi hearts also are big. And I didn't quite understand until actually I moved here, a couple of years ago. But a little funny note, we were in Kolkata day before yesterday, and we ordered some food. And the Swiggy came, the bag came, and I look at the bag and say, I think they forgot something. Because I saw there were 2 dabbas, but I only saw one, because I'm used to ordering food here and the dabbas are big, and like this. They must have forgotten some food, and then I opened and I saw there were actually all the food that we had requested. Well, in Maharashtra, you could say that Ganesh Chaturthi and all of this is Punjabi size. It's really, really big. It's noisy, it's big, everybody celebrates, but it's also very beautiful, like all celebrations, even here, are beautiful. And because I came in August of 2010, Ganesh Chaturthi happened actually quite close to my arrival to India. And I had no idea about anything in India. I always thought India was maybe cobras and elephants. That's all only thing I knew. And but of course I was aware of Ganesha because everybody is aware of Ganesha. Somehow he's the most known of all gods in some way, maybe the most loved of all gods. He's in all temples at the entry. He's in almost all houses. He's in almost all cars as well. He really is everywhere. And the concept of Ganesha boggles the Western mind because it's a man with an elephant head. How is that even possible to be? Of course, we all know that it has a lot of symbolism, and we know the stories behind it, but even if you don't know the story, just the symbolism that it represents, which we will read later on what Swamiji said about that. I think if you ask any Western about, Hindu religion, Indian religion, or whatever, the image of Ganesha was going to come right away. He's so well known, but I didn't know anything about him. And so we are invited, as it happens. Everybody invites you to their houses. They give you food. They let you see their Ganesh that they are later going to submerge in the river, and so on and so forth. And I had been told that it is rude to refuse food in India, And I took it really to the letter that time. And the other thing is that in Maharashtra, the modaks of Ganesh are also big size. The steam ones, which are very nice, but they are big in size. And I had no idea what it was, and my palate was very new to all this Indian food. So, okay, I get the food, fine. Then I take one modak, and the host lady, seeing I'm a foreigner, she's very enthusiastic, and she says, no, this is how Ganesh likes it. And she cuts it in the middle and starts pouring ghee in it. And I go, okay, I have it somehow. And then she comes, you want one more? Yes, I don't want to be rude. You want one more? And I had like 4 or 5 of those modaks. I had a very rough night that night. But nevertheless, over time I understood the art of, you say no the first time, but you still take some, and then the second time, and so on and so forth. I think I don't need to tell you the laws. But it was nevertheless a beautiful experience, a little family experience. And of course, somehow it happened that when we lived in Pune, which I lived there for 11 years, we will do satsang, and my satsang very often came during the time of Ganesh Chaturthi. So I had to many times tune into him because, again, I am very much, you could say, a Guru Bhakta. I just tune into the Guru, try to talk to the Guru more than any other form. But, of course, I was compelled to also talk to Ganesh. And I think all of us, the main thing that we feel when we try to tune into Ganesh is that there's a lot of sweetness there. Not because of the modaks, but just it's a God of sweetness. And that's the beautiful thing about the tradition in India, that we have the Param Brahma, the God beyond all creation, that we all want to merge into that one God. Then we have the Om vibration, which manifested this creation, which is represented as Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And from that Om vibration comes countless other deities. There is Kali, and there is Saraswati, there is Ganesh, there is all these other forms, which are just aspects of that one reality. And all of them have a particular vibration that we can tune into. And Ganesha, being the son of Shiva, he has that thing of removing obstacles, destroying, so to speak. But Swamiji said very sweetly that Ganesha is the benign aspect of Shiva. That is that aspect of Shiva that helps us destroy things in a benign way, which means in a calm way, in a sweet way. And that's why we often pray to Ganesh whenever we want to undertake some new venture or whatever it is. Because we don't necessarily want the Shiva energy, like, that strong Shiva energy to start with. We want something a little more that will help us in our energy. Because the beginning of something, if you have ever started any project or anything, requires a lot of energy. It requires us to concentrate a lot. And yes, we want to pray, not necessarily that all obstacles be removed. I don't think that's necessarily the right way to pray to Ganesha, but that he gives us the strength to overcome the obstacles, because obstacles are going to come no matter what. So we pray to him at the beginning, knowing that things are going to come along the way, but he should be there to help us remove those obstacles, adding to our own inner strength, adding to the power that we feel from within. We add that energy in the form of Ganesh, if we choose to help us overcome everything that life throws at us. And that, I feel, that is why Ganesha is so sweet, because he can very, very easily add to our own energy that we already have within ourselves. And with that power, then Maya, in a way, has no chance. He has no chance. So I think that it will be good for us to, during this time, and Shamini is going to go more into specifics, to, yes, invite Ganesh into your home. He is in our temple right now. Invite him to your inner home, and maybe to try to take a challenge of something you want to destroy within yourself, that that you don't need that Shiva energy of like just putting tremendous willpower and kind of destroying everything, like okay, I have this, I'm not gonna do that, and just be tremendously austere with yourself, but just in the other way, of more like a sweet self-offering of that particular quality that we want to overcome. So one is to put all our will, to put, austerely put our will to let go of something which is very much needed many times. The other one is to sweetly, hand in hand with God, offer it to our own higher self for purification, and to really use that inner energy within ourselves to overcome. So what I want to say that today, maybe for this coming 10 days or 9 days, whatever, until Ganesh melts back into our own inner consciousness, perhaps a little bit on the back of our minds, why don't we try to practice more self-offering? That we all have something that we want to let go of. So let us, these coming days, put tremendous amount of energy, yes, praying to Guru, praying to Ganesh, to help us offer that up at the point between the eyebrows, and to release that hold that he has over us. In this way, I think you can experience that sweetness of the destroyer much more strongly. So at the end of our meditation, we already try to let go of everything of this world. So let us, in these coming days, Ganesha is there for a reason. It is a certain energy, a certain vibration that has been manifested. So let us add our own self-offering with that help of Lord Ganesha, raise it up at the point between the eyebrows, and let's start to let go. Pick one thing, and in this sweet manner, or the lovable God as we call him, let it go, and let's see what effect it may have in our consciousness. All right, with that, I'll invite Shamini to take us forward.
Bharat, and good morning, everybody, and happy Ganesh Chaturthi and Ganesh time. It's always fun. I've heard that Modak story many times. Somehow it's after many years and always a joy to hear it. Many people have a lot of nice Ganpati stories. And I was thinking, I want to add to how he talks also from Master, from our path, how can we practically connect with Lord Ganesha in this time, over the next few days that we'll be honoring him. But before that, I just wanted to go a little into just this, the sweetness of it. Again, like Bharat was saying, it brings a little bit of this childlike devotion out, right? The image of Ganesh, it's kind of adorable, it's kind of sweet. There's one of the gods which we can say safely gives a lot of comfort to the heart, and maybe that's why in India he's everywhere. It's like no matter what, I have Ganesh, and that kind of solace that it brings. I was thinking of, from my side, even for me from childhood, and I want you also to think from your own experience maybe with Ganesh at your home. My dad is a Ganesh bhakt, like he's been, very into Ganesha, and so since childhood, it's been one of the things that's been part of our relationship. Until like our house, if you come visit our house, even till today, there's like shelves of Ganeshas in different forms, and it became a hobby, Wherever we would go, we would try to find some unique expression of Ganesh in some way. Until one time, I remember we visited Vietnam, of all places, and there was this little Ganesh wearing, those hat and sitting in the boat, like how those Vietnamese, they do the rowing, and we were like, oh my God, it added to the collection. So wherever we went, we started finding these very adorable forms of Ganesh. But I remembered being a part of, childhood, of something in the heart new, like no matter what happens, like he's there, I can find solace. So one time we were going, I was small, and my dad and I were going to catch a train. We had to go, it was very important, meeting, we couldn't miss it. We were in Mumbai traffic, you can imagine that time. We had reached the train station, but to get to the train was like this much of traffic, and so of course I had in my backpack, I still remember a little thing where there was a small Ganesh. So out came the Ganesh, and I started just secretly doing my prayer to him, and just, we had to make it. There was a lot of stress, and it was like, we have to make it on this train. And somehow I'm not going to go into all of it, but somehow we got onto the last, as the train was moving, the last compartment, the coolie threw me, threw the bags, threw my dad, and came himself, because my money, don't forget to pay me. And then he jumped off the moving train, and we were like, oh my God, shaking, and we reached the train, and my dad and I looked at each other like, wow, how did this happen? And then I opened my fist and I was like, I think he had something to do with it, I still remember, I just so believed. It was a complete 100% belief. This is how we made it, there was no doubt. It had nothing to do with our willpower or even the coolie's ability to, it was all him, And it's just interesting to think back. We all have these very sweet connections, from childhood in India. We are blessed. But as devotees, now comes the beautiful challenge, as Bharat was saying, the self-offering. We know on the path that we take kriya, as we meditate, now it has to go inward, As outward as it is also lovely. It's good to have these reminders. Swamiji says it's in fact important to encourage, not only to respect, but to encourage people's devotion to such forms, because it brings out something in the human, But as devotees, it's very important to take the next step. And so I thought of two ways to add to how can we do this self-offering? And maybe you can see for yourself some version of this, maybe you can take, and let's see what we can have fun with in the next 9 days or so with this expression. As everyone's worshipping Lord Ganesh, there's a power that's palpable in the air, no? And in the whole country. And so adding that to our spiritual journey, how can we do this? So I thought of two things. So one was, if you saw the title of our satsang, it took us a long time to come up with exact words, and then we came up with it and I couldn't remember. I was like, lovable God of? And I had to keep asking him because, what was lovable God of? Beginnings. And, 3 or 4 times I kept forgetting of beginnings. And it's just, this one, the first thing I wanted to give us as a tip. And this is something that has been very kind of like this Ganesh energy of comforting to me on the path. Of every day, Yoganandaji says, is a new beginning. In fact, he says every minute can be a new beginning. And what does that mean? There's so much comfort in that, isn't it? It's just like, you made a mistake, okay, let me start again. I haven't actually understood this quality, let me start from the basics again. So on the spiritual path, no matter how many years we've gone with meditation, no matter how much we think we've learned, you can always start again from zero. And start again, and start again, and start again. And that has always been in the last years something very comforting to me. It's like, oh, great. That means if I haven't perfected this, I can start again from zero. There's no one expecting me to be, more than I am, no? And in that we come to the Guru every day, isn't it, with our meditation. Some things, with his grace, maybe we have released in the past and we freed ourselves. Some things are yet to be released. That's why we're all here. But again and again we come back every day, start again, start again, start again. And in that foundation of the spiritual life gets built, isn't it? And Ganesha, we see, is all about first chakra. He represents the first chakra, Guru says. And that's the foundation. And it's not like you just build a foundation once on the path and then you keep going into extreme high states. We all know you need to keep building that foundation, that base again and again. So kind of appeal to Ganesha, no, in that way, and just with that sweetness, with that childlike devotion of, I haven't yet figured this one out, help me. Help me to get my attitude right. Help me to, show up. Help me to, whatever it might be. You fill in the blank for yourself. And just come with that sweetness, not taking ourselves so austerely, oh, I haven't yet and I have to beat this out of myself. But more as a self-offering, as he was saying, no? And in that way, the benign aspect of Shiva, what Swamiji says, a positive aspect of working with the Shiva can come out in us. And this aspect of every day, just I can do it again. It's a new beginning, it's a new chance, no? To see. So that was one. And the second one was just taking it within. Like the affirmation which we did this morning. I know that joy is not outside me, but within. No? And that's one very important part for the devotee. We are constantly trying to remember, constantly trying to understand, how do I understand this more and more? And especially in these festive times. So yesterday I was walking by the market going back home, and in this we have Bengali Bhavan here. And just I'm walking by and suddenly I hear the drums and all, and so my body only, my feet went like this. There was a beautiful little Ganesh and they came with the prasad and like, come. And it was just like, the call outward is there, and we're actually very blessed in India because the reminder is there. But then we get the opportunity to take it inside, and that's something Master encourages. The joy, whatever it might be, is there, but don't forget to take it within. Don't leave it just as an outer expression. Feed that energy inside. So just on a very light note, also, many years ago in Pune, as in Maharashtra, like he was saying, it's a big deal, And so there was, they actually, those drums, those big drums, people there, they, in societies, they rehearse for 1 month before the Ganesh Chaturthi, and then they all perform, and they play together. So at one point, this was when we were, many of us there, some devotees were, going there, perform it. So they invited like all of us from Ananda to go and be part of their society celebration. And so many of us went, like around 10, 15 of us. Some senior acharyas were also visiting. So we all went and showed up. Now, half the people I think didn't know what they were in for because those drums are loud, and these were like the whole society. Imagine like 30 people though, and even like older women. It was very sweet to see. They'll put the thing and they were practicing the technique, and we were standing there, and it was really funny for me to see from my point. So there was our group, and we split into two. Like half the people were like, "Oh, what's this? I need silence. I'll meet you guys upstairs." Among them might have been Bharat. And I was on the other side of, "Wow, this is amazing," and like, yes. And there were some senior acharyas on my side too. So I was feeling very like, wow, how come they are enjoying this, So I wanted to tune in. And it's very interesting. There's this time that master basically, there's this wonderful story where he's playing the drum, like this which Prefsa plays, and he was playing it very vigorously. And Dr. Lewis, one of his disciples, advanced disciples, was from a very proper, sophisticated background. So he was kind of sitting, and master, was just going with the drum. And I think Dr. Lewis was getting more and more like, oh no, what's this? And master basically told him, master, doctor, enjoy it, let it allow this to loosen the vrittis in your spine, let the beats. So basically what he was saying was, let it enter, take it within, and allow it to loosen the karma, whatever is there lodged. And maybe, that's why these other, and I tried to tune in that that's what they were doing. The ones who were there saying, let's, enjoy this. They had learned the art of kind of taking it in and allowing it to kind of, loosen something inside. And also the others who were like, this isn't my cup of tea, it's all according to our nature. But either way, whether we enjoy that or we don't, we need to loosen those vrittis. We need to allow these festivities to kind of work with that energy in us. And so whatever your style, understand it. It's all good. Either way is great. Master didn't say, don't ever go and listen to drums. He was like, go loosen the vrittis. Or if you're sitting quietly, do the work, Make that inner energy awaken. Let that force of Ganesha awaken those, whatever is locked, whatever is stuck. And use that with sweetness, with love, and just let him kind of release, whatever is left inside us. So then that way, these festive times, this time of Ganesha, can become a very beautiful journey for all of us, even as Kriya Yogis, as meditators, as people seeking inner communion. Is we take it within and then we try to awaken, allow him to awaken that devotion, that love in our hearts. So let's keep some of these points and make it more an inner offering to Lord Ganesha in this time. Jai Guru.
So, shall we read this and just close?
Yes. So would you like to close your eyes for a moment? We want to just read this from Swamiji. This is about Ganesha, Lord Ganesha. So Swamiji says, Ganesha is Shiva's son and represents Shiva's vibration in its benign aspect. The Hindu worships Ganesha as the destroyer of obstacles. He seeks his help before every undertaking and his blessings on his own prosperity and well-being. To tell many a Hindu that Ganesha is only a symbol would be to risk a Shiva-like reaction of the most negative kind. Ganesha, though he possesses a human body, has the head of an elephant. He has a vehicle also, which is surprisingly a rat. There is both comedy and meaning in this ridiculous juxtaposition. For although the elephant is, of course, a symbol of wisdom, its size and strength also enable it to ram its way through the jungle, whereas the rat, because of its small size, can burrow underneath the jungle's obstacles and arrive at the same end, perhaps just as quickly. The rat's forte lies in subtlety rather than in strength. Both might and subtlety are necessary for success in life, depending on the obstacles to be overcome. Ganesha is shown as pot-bellied and affable. The pot-belly indicates affluence, the affability, beneficence, these being the blessings his votaries ask of him. Meditation on Lord Ganesha helps us, above all, to invoke positive Shiva qualities in ourselves whenever we are beset by life's difficulties.